Thomas White. When I got out as a E5, I was a sergeant, a military police platoon as a team leader. And I was in from January of 2001 to January of 2009. I love the military. I'm a history buff. So it was part of who I was, mentally. But in all honesty, the driver was 100% college tuition. So I thought this was gonna be 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. Maybe there'd be a natural disaster that we would help out on. Of course, then I leave for basic training in August of 2001. So I'm on my way to advanced first aid when things start changing a little bit one day, and then we receive very little information then that the Pentagon and the World Trade Center had been attacked. So this was a real world situation now. And when you leave here, you're not going to a peacetime status. You're going to a unit that's going to be preparing for war. I'm not gonna say that I was some, hardcore brainwashed, soldier. I was terrified, and I was very fortunate at that time to make a good connection with the recruiting sergeant in our area. And the conversation that we had was, oddly enough, but I guess it makes sense, is, you look really good in a uniform. Would you like to be a recruiting assistant? And I'm like, if that's the qualification, yeah. If you don't need any other qualifications to do that. So I said, sure, I'll help you out with that. I started going to high schools and trying to recruit soldiers. So eventually the orders did come down for us to accept a different mission. And I was faced with that question of recruiting is an essential duty at this point, because again, we're trying to fill these positions. If you want to stay here and stay in this recruiting capacity, you can. Well, that's a no-brainer. Absolutely, I do want to stay here and in that capacity. So that's, I was very fortunate to have done the rest of my time in that recruiting capacity. Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I believe was, it was obviously during the Clinton administration, so sometime in the 90s. Was it a good solution to a very bad problem? No, it was not a good solution by any means. Was it good for the contemporary world at that time? I don't know, maybe. For me personally, it was like the 300-pound gorilla, I think, in the room all the time. It was always that piece of you that you knew you could never talk about, tell, or act on, because there was going to be some kind of serious ramification, whether that was simply disciplinary and forcing you out of the military, or was it going to be something worse that was going to put you in physical danger, which certainly many LGBT soldiers went through. As somebody in the military, as a soldier, as somebody that's indoctrinated into that thinking, it was just an order that you just processed, and that's the way you lived with it. And we lived with a lot of things that we didn't like to do, or I didn't like getting up in the morning and running for 5 miles, but that's my orders, and that's what I did because I was a soldier, and that's what I did. You almost get in that kind of mindset, and how horrible is that? How horrible is that's what that becomes? I don't think you realize it at the time, but all those experiences and those things that happen, I think, that leaves a scar on your psyche. The military is all about assimilating and being one, and we're all the same. And I think we now know we need to be able to operate the same and as one, but we know that every organization is stronger when we're diverse. So I hope the military has now embraced that. Everything you learn in the military, hopefully you carry with it. And to me, as cheesy as it might sound, those Army values are still important to me. It's loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, integrity, and personal courage. Those are all values that can see you through every part of your life, no matter what that is. The other part of what the military teaches you that is so valuable for anybody is, no matter what the adversity is, you can get through it, and you can persevere, and you can get to the other side and keep on going.